Yo guys, what is up? My name is Jeracraft and today we're going to take a look at Minecraft 1.17, the Caves and Cliffs update, or at least the latest snapshot versions, to find out what kind of crazy new Minecraft builds we can now create while using some of these new blocks. But I'm not just going to show you some simple ideas, build tips and tricks. Oh no, I've actually transformed entire Minecraft worlds just so that we can see the true potential of this new update. So if you do end up enjoying this video, please consider subscribing, and without further ado, let's begin today's adventure. Now, one of my favorite new additions are the candles. So starting with the absolute obvious, you can now make some really decent looking chandeliers. I mean, I don't know about you, but I have always hated using torches. Personally, I just think they look terrible. And honestly, if I worked for Mojang, I would probably make the torches look like this. I just think this looks 100 times better. But I do also understand that not everyone might agree with this kind of change. But at least now we have some really nice looking candles as a decent alternative. But the great thing about candles is they come in a variety of different colors and pretty much work in any kind of setting, especially when it comes to the dark and creepy side of Minecraft. Now here we have a completely transformed dungeon style crypt, and it's important to note all those small details that really help in making this place look as creepy as it does. The chains, the candles, the dead coral plants, and even some of the new dripstone spikes that really add to the atmosphere of this gloomy, dark looking dungeon. Now, if you think about a place like the Stronghold, I mean, aside from maybe the library, it can overall be a little underwhelming. But with a bit of an upgrade, you can make this look so much more interesting just by implementing some of these new blocks. I'm actually hoping Mojang will eventually upgrade some of the old structures, but you know, we'll just have to wait and see. For now, this makes for a pretty decent looking upgrade. So next on the list, we have another simple idea when it comes to upgrading those creepy looking graveyards. This was inspired by Day of the Dead, so you know, a lot of candles and flowers, which I basically placed using some invisible item frames. I've also noticed that you can make the candles look a slight bit taller by placing them on top of end rods, you know, just to add a bit more variation. Now, if you still don't think I'm obsessed with candles, then this next build might convince you, because I just had to try building the Enchanted Wizard Library. Of course, I used some of those magical floating wax sticks, but there is one issue. For some reason, I also really wanted flying books, like desperately. I mean, just how amazing would that be? So if you do follow me on Twitter, you would know I failed quite a few times, but eventually, I decided to retexture bats and phantoms to try and make them look like flying books, and I just thought this looked amazing. Now I know this has nothing to do with the new update, but I really like this idea, so I thought I'd show you guys anyway. I mean, just imagine the Stronghold library with some sort of new flying book mob. We could have them drop books, enchanted books. Well, you get the idea. Mojang, please just grant me this one wish. Okay, so let's take a look at the new dripstone spikes. I mean, some people don't like them for some reason, but for me, I think this is my second favorite block of this update. And well, to see its true potential, I basically transformed an entire mineshaft. I have to say though, placing all of these dripstone spikes took a really long time to do, but I absolutely love this. I think it was definitely worth the extra effort. Now, there's only one thing I could wish for, and that would be a stone-shaded version of the dripstone spike. Now, I've actually learned how to make a texture pack during the making of this video. No joke. So I pretty much just retextured the blocks. I don't think it looks as good as the original, but it still would be nice to see this kind of variation. Aside from that, I mean, this place still looks pretty insane. With the lava lake right at the bottom and all those extra details, it just makes the cave so much more interesting to explore. Now, most of you might already know about this, but just in case you missed it, candles can also work as dynamite sticks when you place them together with TNT. I know, we're back to candles yet again, but I'll be quick. They also work on melons, pumpkins, cactus, decorating ponds. I don't know what to say. I mean, there is just a lot of candles in this one video, even when it comes to this next build. But the main experiment here was to try and use the new dripstone spikes as a new kind of pillar. It's definitely not the kind of block we're used to, but I just think it's going to work with a variety of different projects. So what we're going to do is head straight into the jungle for this next transformation, where I've used some of the new dripstone spikes to decorate this tribal jungle themed village. I built this quite a few years ago, but now with some of the new blocks, this just looks much more fitting. The spikes almost look like, I don't know, sharp spears protecting the village, maybe just scaring off intruders. Either way, I thought this looked pretty adventurous, so I decided to add this project to the list. The dripstone spikes would have also worked really well together with the orc-themed nether portal, which is also a very tribal-themed project. But then again, this is one of the biggest builds I've done, and well, it would take me weeks to cover this entire map in dripstone spikes. So yeah, maybe in a future video, or maybe never, I don't know. Now, I did transform the underwater pirate-themed treasure cove, of course a much smaller scale project, but I just thought it would be a really cool idea to use the new dripstone spikes as teeth for the dragon skull. So I reckon we're going to see a lot of dripstone teeth in the future. I mean, according to the Minecraft community on Reddit, we already have a ton of weird creatures. I don't even know what this is. Slabfish is coming for you. I mean, it kind of reminds me of a murloc, and dude, no offense, but I hate murlocs. So anyway, I did end up transforming the cave just because I was curious to see how the upgrade would turn out. And well, this place just always reminds me of Disney's Pirates of the Caribbean. You just grab a boat and travel down the river. You know what I'm talking about, right? I've always thought about building my own theme park in Minecraft, which could actually make for a good 2021 project. But aside from that, I think we've seen enough caves, and it's time we take a look at some of the more curious looking blocks of this update. Now, this next project is by far one of my favorite creations on this video. I decided to use blocks from both the Nether update and the Cave update, so expect a lot of blackstone, chains, soul lanterns, together with shulker sensors and amethyst crystals. All this was in combination to make this absolutely magical yet creepy looking Nether portal. I really love this project, but to be honest, I was a bit skeptical at first and thought maybe these blocks were a bit too bright, maybe they just wouldn't work. But if you do use the right blocks, you can make some pretty insane looking combinations. I do think the waving patterns on the Nether portal was just one of those main details that really helped this project work. Not to mention the crying obsidian dripping down from the ceiling, which honestly I completely forgot had this animation. So what we're going to do is head straight through the portal to our next destination, and I'm sorry the portal is a little underwhelming on this side of the fence, but as crazy as this sounds, I decided to build an entire forest using just amethyst crystals. Yeah, this was way too much effort to say the least, but I just thought the trees looked quite nice, especially with the warped logs. They also have a combination of stained glass, purple wool, and of course some hanging soul lanterns. I mean, it was a bit of an experiment. The elven themed house was actually a build I did for one of Mojang's books, and I just thought it matched the general vibe. And by the way, the ambience at night I think is even more breathtaking just because the amethyst crystals do give off a small amount of light, so that can also be quite useful. With that said, I think it's time we move on to our next project on our list. So I think at this point we can all agree that this has been a pretty magical themed update, so I guess you can call this build whatever you wish. The enchanting room, the ritual circle, or the Illuminati blood sacrifice pit. I don't know, but I just thought that this build looked really cool with the floating candles and the floating obsidian pillars. I mean, we can even throw in some flying books, why not? Okay, so up next, I actually have some of your Minecraft builds. Seeing as we now have a new Discord server, I decided to ask everyone to send in some of their Snapshot builds, and I have to say I was actually quite impressed. Now, obviously I won't be able to showcase them all, but here are some of the best ones I found and my absolute favorites. Okay, so first up on the list we have this amazing looking TRex skeleton. When I first saw this build, I thought it was pretty incredible. I feel like it belongs in some sort of giant Minecraft museum. Of course, he's also used the new dripstone spikes for teeth, and well, there's not much more I can say. I just thought it was definitely worth showcasing. So up next we have this cool, vibrant looking project using some of the new copper blocks, and to be honest, I was not 100% convinced that I actually liked the new copper blocks, but now that I get to see them firsthand, I guess I've decided to change my mind. They do match well with the soulfire pots, and the orange color tone in some of the rooms do look really good. There's also an amethyst tree, a cool looking throne chair, all right at the center of this huge dome, so it is a pretty massive base. Moving on to our next build, we have this crazy looking steampunk futuristic project. Now this must have taken a while to build, considering we don't even have world edit just yet, but there is a few things I really like about this build. For one, the huge drill bit slowly digging out the ground using all of the new copper blocks. Obviously a very mechanical looking contraption. We have lava dripping down and smoke rising up from different parts. I mean, I like that kind of stuff. It's a big brain. So next we have this amazing looking modern house. At least I think it's a modern house. It could also be a weather monitoring station for all I know. Either way, it's a great build, and I just love how he's practically used all of the newest blocks. We have candles, dripstone, copper, this really cool looking antenna thing. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go with weather station for this one. So next up we have this interesting abandoned wizard mage tower, which I thought had a really nice looking interior. Honestly, I wouldn't even mind seeing builds like this just randomly generating in Minecraft. Apart from that, you guys know I just had to throw in some flying books, right? I mean, look, the place is pretty magical, so it gets the magic book treatment. That's just the way it is. I have to admit, I do feel kinda terrible not being able to showcase every single build, but there's still a chance you can check them out on the Discord server. Unfortunately, some people did forget to send me the actual Minecraft worlds, so there's not much I can do about that. There's also a ton of smaller ideas that I would love to work on, but honestly, I'm just waiting on those cool looking archaeology pots, so we'll just have to wait on future snapshots. But most importantly, I do hope you consider subscribing. These videos take like hundreds of hours to do, and I just don't want to have to hypnotize you. You know, I'm totally not hypnotizing you right now, but please subscribe. It's free. It takes 1 second. It means the world to me. You click a button, ta-da, it's done. Magic, flying book, kangaroo. I don't know. Is this working?
Please subscribe.